Hello there, people of the tubes, and welcome to the first real battle of the Demon's Journey. Today we have the Solomon's Nightmare by Maty against the fleet, the Russian Blyat Boris Shrek fleet of Maty-legnome. Who will win? Who will win? Place your bets down in the comment and let us join the fight. Obligatory slideshow comments. Jimmer, I know you're gonna do that. But nonetheless, for every fight in the Demon's Arena, we're gonna have 2 matches, and whoever wins more than 1 round obviously wins the round. If it's a draw, we will do a 3rd match, and whoever wins in that match wins regardless of the points and stuff. So onwards to the first round. So guys, the first fight between Maty and Lily starts with both exchanging shells and Maty firing missiles at Lily, but Lily has managed to delete a lot of those missiles, so at the start of this match, no one managed to damage each other by a significant amount. But as you guys can see, Maty is lobbing a lot more shot than Lily is, because Maty has a lot more guns than Lily, and every time these small Borises fire, like, their sausage wiggling there keeps cracking me up no matter how many times I look at it, pre-edit or post-edit. There's this weird crafts that just wiggle around. Lily's giant Mega Shrek battleship is tanking all the shells with A's and even managing to reflect a lot of shells, and to be honest, it lobs a lot more missiles at Maty than it does shells, but the Shine Horse lamps are powerful enough to erase each and every one of those missiles, and it has missile distractors as well, but I don't know what's happening there. Both of the missiles are getting distracted, so they're spiraling down, and as you guys can see, the Shiny Horse has taken a wee bit damage, and from the other broadside has managed to laser down the Boris craft. One of the Boris craft has just touched down the water and it is in a bad condition, while the other Boris is still flying, and oh, Lily just lost one of his front main guns and is now getting absolutely shredded in one of his broadsides. The problem with Lily's Mega Shrek is there are a lot of guns in the other broadside, but they aren't able to shoot because they are on the other broadside, and the guns in the back have stopped shooting, probably because they got some parts shot out, or maybe their AI controllers just went off, because Maty is using a lot of HESH and there is a lot of internal damage. Like you guys can see, one of the sides of this Mega Shrek has been absolutely shaved off, and this Mark IIH's, spoiler alert, never takes a single shot of damage almost throughout the entire battle. It just stays away and keeps shooting, while Shine Horse has taken a lot more damage than before, but it's still negligible for the Shine Horse because it's just the outer belt armor. And Maty-legnome's Shrek, even if accidentally, thinks of a tactic of hiding behind the island, a legit tactic used in naval battle to repair itself. But will it be able to? Will it be able to come back through the massive amounts of damage that has been done to it? It is managing to avoid the other fleet by a lot here, but I don't think he had any repair bots, and the fire has started coming back, and look at that damage. Now that's a lot of damage. Even a flex tape seal cannot seal that. That is just recipe for sinking, and at this point Maty-legnome's only way of offense is 2 missiles that he keeps shooting, and at this point I should probably stop the battle because we can already see who is gonna win, but the Mega Shrek just refuses to sink, and it refuses to stop firing for a long while. So I just could not stop the battle, and I had to keep going. And as you guys can see in here, I was having massive lag spikes because, let's be honest, these two are the absolute biggest fleets in this. Oh yeah. These two are the absolute biggest fleet in this tournament, so this is the most lag we are gonna have, hopefully. And as you guys can see, the Mega Shrek is very defensive. It has layers upon layers upon layers of armor, but one of the broadsides is completely gone, and the internals of this thing is completely hollow at this point at one side, but it still does not sink. I don't know what this thing is made of. It still refuses to sink. Like, almost 5 minutes have passed. It refuses to sink. The Aegis Mark II comes close to the Shrek to check its condition, and then decides that it needs more shooting. And Maty's fleet does more shooting. A lot more shooting. But Shrek, I don't know, like, I was seriously at this point just hoping this thing would sink, because this was just dragging out. There was no way with that kind of firepower the Shrek was gonna win against Maty, while Maty's fleet was mostly intact. But this just refused to sink. Just refused to sink, and it was also firing torpedoes, so I just could not close the battle here. Just could not. And the Aegis keep shooting those smaller shells while the main batteries of Aegis run out of ammo pretty fast for some reason, and it takes forever to reload. So yeah, they're the Alpha Strike guns on the Aegis Mark II, and look at this thing. This thing refuses. And soon enough it will turn the other side and may start shooting with those other guns in the broadside. But I do think this is not gonna shoot because something internally is heavily damaged on this. Look at this thing. Isn't this a majestic boat? It just keeps floating. Just keeps shooting. It doesn't want to give up. But alas, if I continue this match at this point, it will just be dragging on. I have done this match up until 15 minutes. This thing keeps on floating. But nonetheless, at the end of the 15 minutes, Maty had more percentage left on his fleet by a long shot, so Maty wins the first round. Onwards to the second round. And begins the second match. This time Lily is on the first team, and hence we'll be focusing towards the first part in Lily's fleet. And there goes the large missile launcher underwater because I have no idea why. And again, Lily face tanking all those massive shells while lobbing back half the amounts of shells, so that's really not good for Lily here. But the Boruses this time have managed to get far from the Mega Shrek, so they are not gonna take all that much damage this time around, and they're gonna keep wiggling, and this thing is gonna keep firing large missiles. So those large missiles are gonna be proving deadly for Maty's fleet. And just look at the confetti of blocks coming out of Lily's Mega Shrek. It is just fun to watch ships killing ships, and I don't know why these black areas keep happening in the video. I have tried fixing them. They just keep coming back. I'll have to cut them out again later after rendering the video, but nonetheless, just slow-mos everywhere, and from the behind, the Aegis is frying the other broadside of this thing with those little explosive shells. It just looks amazing when looked up close, and shells fires from every direction. This thing is getting showered with frag, the same as the first round, so nothing much will change in this round, unfortunately. And again, it will. And just look at that. Lily's front turrets have firing arcs so low that they just can't fire if they move more than like 120 degrees away from the enemy fleets. And right now, Lily's back is getting plummeted, so his propellers are gonna go soon, and he's gonna turn into a sitting duck for the shiny horse and Aegis. And just as I say, the speed of the Shrek has reduced, and it starts firing again because Maty's fleet is again in firing range. So that is that. And Aegis this time around has managed to take a little bit of damage from the time it sailed to the other broadside of the Mega Shrek and took a few shots, but it is fast enough that it managed to get out of that situation, while the shiny horse this time around has taken a lot more damage than before. This side of the broadside is a little bit scorched. Not many blocks have gone, but they have blackened. And Boris, what can I say about this? They just Maty's laser. They just shred this thing. And will this thing fall on the Aegis? If it does, it is gonna do a massive amount of. It was gonna do a massive amount of damage to the Aegis if it fell that way, but no, it doesn't. And Lily is now an absolute sitting duck in the water because he has no more propellers. But he keeps shooting and he keeps damaging the shiny horse, although it has lost a lot of main battery guns, but still, two of them now are still alive. And it is shooting the shiny horse, and for some reason the shiny horse is slowing down in there. And the shiny horse has managed to turn in front of Lily's Mega Shrek and is now hitting straight where it needs to be hit to disable those front main battery guns. But the armor is so huge on this ship that it just doesn't blow up the main battery guns. They keep shooting, and down from 2, it only has 1 main battery. Oh, actually, it still has those 2 main batteries. It looked for a second that only one of them was firing, but I guess the front one got stuck somewhere. But nonetheless, this is gonna again drag out to 15 minutes. Yeah. The Mega Shrek now is just rotating at the same place, showing all its sides to the shiny horse for the shiny horse to blow this thing up. By the way, I am talking right now. Most of you must have guessed that Maty wins this round as well, but as you guys might have noticed, the shiny horse has taken even more damage, and this time around, the shiny horse has big craters in it. I don't know what caused that. Maybe the Shrek's shells hitting at the right places, or maybe it is the sunken large missile craft that did this. But look at that big fat crater there. That certainly does not look like a shell coming from the Shrek, but it does look like a large missile coming from the bottom, from that sunken large missile launcher there. I don't know, I forgot thing's name. One Punch, yeah, One Punch Man. He named it appropriately. Those things create a large crater, And Shrek has been almost completely decapitated at this point, and Aegis just keeps rattling this thing over and over again. Just keep shooting those needle-sized shells. This is a true death by 1,000 cuts, or in this case, 1,000 APS shells. And because of the massive crater, the shiny horse is struggling with the engine power, because I do think that the engine has taken damage, so the shiny horse is struggling to stay afloat, but nonetheless it is gonna stay afloat even if it is struggling. And the engine sounds are quite weird right now. This just ramps up, ramps down, ramps up, ramps down. The engine is leaking everywhere of the shiny horse, and it's leaning to the side. The water is entering, so finish Shrek quickly, shiny horse. Why shiny horse? Shine horse. Shiny horse. What a butchering of the name of Scran horse. And the Mega Shrek still keeps shooting one shell at a time, but it's like there's a wall in front of the shiny horse that keeps gulping up those shells. And one shell managed to get to the shiny horse, but that won't be enough to save this thing. Oh, the shiny horse has stopped shooting for some reason. A sitting duck getting pummeled by a big ass and a medium ass ship. Is just calming at this point. They're just exchanging one shell at a time at each other at this point, because the shiny horse has depleted its ammo reserve and is only shooting through its innate ammo regenerations in the ammo barrels, or ammo boxes, I should say. The Aegis is reversing for some reason. Huh. I think that is because if it kept going forward, it would have rammed the shiny horse. And yeah, look at that. There's a massive hole in the engine compartment there. Hence the struggle from the shiny horse. And the Aegis, being the fast bugger it is, it manages to avoid the shiny horse and is again going towards the Mega Shrek for a quick inspection of its conditions. Man, the shiny horse is almost flipping to the sides and sinking. Almost. Not quite, but almost. And this thing, I don't know how this thing is made. My ships, if they had holes everywhere, they would have sunk. But this thing doesn't sink. Maybe it's just innately buoyant, who knows. But with that kind of armor, I don't think it is. And the front turret of the Mega Shrek is still shooting. It's still shooting. And both of the fleets have reduced their offensive powers to almost zero. So they're just... It's... God damn it. I'm gonna cry here. It's hard to commentate, especially post-commentate on stuff for more than 10 minutes. But nonetheless, it's kind of fun to watch, even though this is just one shell at a time at this point. And he just misses his main battery. Look at this. Just look at the amount of HE shells being bombarded on the Mega Shrek from the Aegis. It just looks amazing, doesn't it? The fireworks. Just little tiny needly HE going on everywhere. I especially record the scene because this just looked amazing at this point. Little light bulbs popping off everywhere because little dragon needles stabbing into the Shrek all over the place. This was just beautiful. This is how a death of the battleship should look like, at least in from the depths. Death by 1,000 40mm shells. Oh, something has blown up with that big shell landing on the back turret. I think it is the internals of the turret, so only the front turret now remains. Still is shooting. Still is shooting. Someone sink already! I'm enjoying this though. And the shiny horse, for some reason, leaning even more. And one of the shiny horse's main batteries have actually been disabled by the Shrek. Wow, that one shell after another, the persistence from the Mega Shrek was the key here, wasn't it? It certainly was. Just keep shooting, just keep shooting, shooting, just keep shooting. 13 minutes in. Almost 14 minutes in, so one more minute and the battle should end. A Mega Shrek. More hash, more frags, more everything for the Mega Shrek. And with that, the battle ends with a close but still strong victory by Maty's forces. The Solomon Nightmare moves on to get to the second bracket.